if you have the skills of marketing, sales, coaching, delivery, leadership, building, you're essentially like Thanos.
The craziness of selling high ticket.
Crazy. The craziness
crazy of the online fitness space now selling high ticket.
Yeah,
What is that? Let's first go. Yeah, let's dive right into it. The first thing is for everyone who don't know how to define high ticket, or they know what high ticket is but not know things. Describe what is high ticket.
Yeah, look, a high ticket sale is a high end sale. It's not your $29 a month membership. It probably is anywhere between, $50 a week or more. That's a higher end ticket sale. And over the course of 12, 16 weeks, 26 weeks, 52 weeks. And I see a lot of this happening because every day, I'm sure just like you get my ads on Facebook. I'd hope you see my ads. But you start to see a whole bunch of guys copying my ads and girls. And, it seems like we've got this craze of high ticket now, and everyone's starting to sell high ticket. And we do. Like, I promote our coaches being the best. And if you want to be a coach, you have to sell high end. And there's a lot of pros for selling high end. We're going through a sales challenge inside of the 1% now. And Kerry hates this, but I fucking love this. I love this because I feel like if you have the skills of marketing, sales, coaching, delivery, leadership, building, you're essentially like Thanos. Now, comment down below if you know who the fuck Thanos is, because I do. Kerry was like, that's lame, Lynn. I'm like, we're going to get a glove made. We've got a custom-made glove. It's got the 1% logo on it. We're going to give this out to a price. And so, before we dive in, this is 21 days inside of our community right now in a sales challenge. We're 21 days. We've got, Kerry, 2 weeks left until this wraps up?
Mm-hmm.
And
just a little over 2 weeks.
And what you're going to notice is 21 days, people have made 59 sales, Ronnie, 59 sales for Nick. The total revenue is 48,000, 52,000. Kitty on her own, this girl is just ridiculous, which is why she's called Team Thanos. Because Kitty single-handedly is just, 21 days, $190,000 in sales is fucking ridiculous. So
love Kitty.
Rubble. And Kitty will probably end up wearing one of these. We'll get this made for her. Anyway,
end game for all.
It's end game. She'll flick her fingers and it's all over. So I class. So there's pros and cons, and if you're a coach and if you're good at what you do and you're an expert, then you should charge high end. But drum roll. High end pricing, because there's high delivery, it means your clients will pay a lot more attention. High end means that you can build better infrastructure. Okay, infrastructure meaning processes, systems, people. You can deliver them a better experience. You can send them welcome packages. You can do all sorts of stuff because you actually have money. Or you don't have money, the experience isn't there. So when you think about Apple with high-end products, it's all about the experience. It's all about opening up that box. It's all about the packaging. It's all about that soft little nice fucking, I love Apple, right? So every time I open a box, even though it's the same product, I just got a laptop replacement for a laptop that I already have, but it was just replaced, and I was so excited about opening it because of the experience. It just felt compact. It felt tight. The material felt really good. The smell was there. Everything around the experience that you give, it's high end. And the only way that you can do that is if you've got revenue. Okay, so most people charge high end and they just go, sweet, I'm going to collect all the profits. But that's not how you grow and build and keep high end. And so I want to talk about this because as more and more, what's really funny, as more and more ads pop up showing people, how to do high ticket sales, I see a lot of this shit happening and I go, okay, cool. You'll get 1, 3, 5 sales. You might get, I don't know, you might come into Team Thanos and see Kitty Like she's made, I don't know how many sales she's made. So like 77 sales in 21 days, high end, right? Like repeated sales. But if you do not know how to deliver, you do not know how to coach, you do not know how to build processes, and you think that the thing that you can get away with is sending your client like an app and then messaging them, and you think that that's going to pull off high end to actually build raving fans, your business isn't going to go. It's not going to take off. And I've been through the journey so many times to see this happen.
And I think that one of the mistakes of this online marketing is that, one, if you don't know how to sell high ticket, first of all, learn how to sell high ticket and position yourself as high end. The second thing is the mistake that I see a lot of the times with online marketing is that the front end of the marketing is very well positioned as high end. But then when you actually go into the systems, and then what the systems are built out with online, a Facebook group, then a trainerized program, or just a MyFitnessPal app, then the delivery and the experience, it's like if you open up a Apple packaging, which seems so high end, and then at the end of the day, you get a little tiny Acer, and the experience just absolutely changes. And I think that's a one key mistake that, especially with online leverage, is that it's purely just leveraging your systems, but it's not actually telling you that your delivery systems is cheap and
for sure.
Facebook.
Yeah, I agree. I recently did another training. It's going live today, but I'm going to post it in the link inside of under this. It's 2019 training, how to sell high-end clients, how to deliver essentially the 1% model, what we do here and why it's so effective. So if you guys click there and you guys can register, watch it. And then of course, if you feel like this is a good fit, then come and join our program, come and be part of the Avengers team to beat Team Thanos, et cetera, et cetera. But there's one big critical mistake that a lot of people make. It's that they sell high end, they don't know how to deliver high end. And so if you sell, guess this is what happens. You churn and burn, you churn and burn, you churn and burn, you churn and burn. And that becomes tiring. And most people are so good at, like, this is what I see wrong with Facebook and everything on my newsfeed right now. People will show you how to get clients. How do you get 5 to 7 new clients? How to get high-end clients? How to make $10,000 in like 10 weeks? And all that's good. But true business owners know how to keep clients, and they know how to grow clients into more clients. Okay. Amateurs know how to get clients because it's not hard to get clients. You just make somebody a promise. And you go, if I promise you to get this result in exchange for this money, will you give me money? But how many people actually keep promises? How many people keep promises? And
these days.
Yeah. Right. So it's really funny because when you're selling coaching, you're making somebody a promise. You're making somebody a promise. And a lot of coaches don't actually like to make promises because they know they can't keep them. This is the promise. And this is a good question I have for you to ask from today's conversation is, what promise are you making to your prospect? Okay, what promise are you making to your prospect? And do you know how to keep it? And Kez, when most people think about creating a program or a solution to their prospect, they just go, you know what? I'll tell you what to do. Here's what to do. Go and do it. Here's the app. Go and do it. Here's the membership site. Go and do it. Now, but we live in a world where what to do isn't the problem. This isn't the problem. Your clients already know what to do. The problem is they're not doing it. If you don't know how to get your clients to do shit, they'll never get to the promise.
And if that was a real problem, and the fact is that we didn't know what to do, we'd all be lean.
Correct.
The world would be lean and healthy.
Correct.
And fit.
Here's the reality of the situation. And this is where if you're an elite coach, if you're a high-end coach, you must know how to get your clients to do shit, not give them the what to do. And that's where you need to evolve, because then you own this promise. Because I promise I can get you this result, assuming that you come in and you follow through, and I will do everything in my power to give you the best possible chance at achieving this result. Here it is. And that's when you know you've got something high-end, high-ticket. But further to that, this goes into a bit of conversation about information isn't the key anymore. Information gets people started, but doesn't help people follow through. Because people stop because they feel unmotivated. People stop because they change their mind. They're fickle. People stop because they just go, you know what? I don't want this as much as I said I wanted this. People stop because their friends, family, and their environment hold them back. We were talking about this with our parents yesterday, Gary. What were we talking about? We gave our dad a bit of a blasting. Paul Papa Lee, right? And we talked about how comfortable environments will never help you grow. But if you don't know how to get your clients to do shit and what affects their in between their brain to do shit, you will never be able to keep your promise. You'll never be able to keep your promise. So when you're selling high ticket, the thing that you have to consider is, number one, great, you have high ticket. Number two, can you deliver?
I like to also make an assumption of that. When you give out your program, when you give out your product, mm-hmm. almost have to assume that they won't do it.
Yes.
If you make that assumption up front, trust me, the way that you think about delivery will be very, very different. Because if you assume that everything goes well and perfect for 12 weeks and that when they implement, they'll get results and give you a testimonial, give you your money. In a perfect world, that would never happen.
Yeah. Correct. That's a fucking good statement. I think I made that a while back, but I haven't used that for a while, Kara. I'm going to bring that back into the community. If you assume that they won't do shit, what are you going to do next to persuade and influence them to do shit? Because the only way for you to grow your business is if you're able to keep these promises that you make. Because if you keep these promises, guess what? You're now known as the coach that delivers this result time and time again. And then you can bring in the next person, take them through your system, refine your system, look back at your system, make your system better. And I think the coaches that are doing well here inside of the 1%, there are a lot of coaches that are doing well, but the coaches that really do well, and the ones that take off, make 30, 40, 50, 60,000 a month, like go on to make 100,000 a month, are the ones that consistently refine their product and their system, and they take ownership and they go, you know what, the client's results were on me, it wasn't on them. And that's really hard to do because you have to let your ego go. But then, so I think that's the topic of discussion as there are more and more high ticket people selling you on how to close $10,000 sales in 2 weeks, and all of that's good. The only problem is these guys, I've seen so many of them come and go, and I know the model really well because you can get clients, you make $5,000, and then you end up coaching other coaches on how you did that, only to then get them to your particular point, which is what a lot of these guys popping up in my newsfeed happen to do so, but they actually don't figure out the consumer game. How do you get the end consumer results? How do you build an ecosystem, community, culture, certainty, clarity, your own leadership around that to actually raise people's standards and get them to take action? So I think that's a very critical point. As I don't know, do you see a lot of that stuff in your newsfeed, Kez? Is it me?
I definitely see that, but I also see high ticket coaching being sold to me in the fitness space. As I was saying to our community the other day, I was getting sold into nutritional coaching, and they're positioned really high end, one-on-one, coaching, I decided to do a little bit more research, as you do.
Who is this? Let's go to that website. What was it called again?
It was they're called Working Against Gravity.
Against Gravity.
It's pretty high end, one-to-one coaching. And when I kind of read more into it, it was that they put me into their system. I'm following basically MyFitnessPal, but in a niched environment. And then they check in and they tick off through an app with me. So even though they position themselves so high end in their marketing, in their front end, I knew that in delivery, it was just automated.
Okay. How much is this?
It's $160 US a month.
$160 US a month. And then I just want to go to the results. I want to see what I get. But I think you were having a look into this the other week, weren't you? And what do these guys give you? They give you an app. They tell you you've got a one-to-one coach. They've got about 20 coaches. And you said that the coach checks in on you via an app.
Yeah. So I don't know exactly how it works, but it's not even a face-to-face. I chat with the coach. It's cool. I think the coach writes to me through an email.
Yep. How do these guys market? Like, how do they even get clients?
They market really well on Instagram.
Cool. So here's the biggest problem that they'll have, guaranteed. And if any one of you knows the founder of this guy, like, get him to talk to me, because what he's going to happen is he's going to get clients. He's going to get somebody sign up at $160 a month, which is not too bad. It's on the lower end of higher end. And then he's going to have a churn rate of anywhere from 25 to 40% every single month churn. That means people are leaving this. And if you think about it, if you go, how many people would they have? Let's say, assume they have 100 people. That's 25 to 40 people leaving every single month. And if you do the math, that's about, $6,000 a month recurring leaving.
Yeah, it's a very leaky bucket.
It's a very, very leaky bucket. And I can assume why, because we're so deep into this game that I go, churn's a real thing. Nobody likes to talk about, like, here's what's fucked up about our industry. Everybody talks about how they got clients. Everybody talks about this. And you know what this is, this reminds me of? It's like the fucking client that loses 7 kilos in the first week of a program. Right? This is what's fucked up, Kez. It's like you promoting a client who for the very first week starts on an intermittent fasting program, loses 7 kilos, and you're like, look at this client. They lost 7 kilos in the first week. I'm awesome. That tells 1/10 of the story. The real story is, well, did you turn their business around? Did you free up their time? What's their churn like? Did you fix up their churn on the back end? What's their coaching community like? Did it take off? Did you build infrastructure? These are the things that, see, everyone likes to talk about the first week, and then when shit stops happening after the first week, they go, why is this happening? And I go, there's a lot of things happening here that I guarantee churn's high. And I know why churn's high, because we've figured out it comes down to 4 C's. Community, comes down to culture, comes down to how much clarity the client has on where they're at and where they're going. And it comes down to how certain they are inside of your community, amongst onboarding, delivery, coaching, the movement, the leader, and all of that stuff. So it's really funny because people don't want to buy from these companies. And when I look at this company, I look at it as, it's a faceless company.
Yeah.
There's 20 coaches. The coaches don't really, I don't know, who are the coaches? Meet the team.
What's really interesting is that I think they've lowered their prices.
Okay.
They've lowered their prices since when I first heard about them, possibly because they just can't price themselves as a higher end as what they do now, because
for sure
they know that their product isn't.
It's churn. It's going to be churn for sure.
Yeah.
And also too, if I don't do these people have a big following on social? Are they big around? Are they coaches? Can I connect with them? Because people buy from people. People don't buy from big companies and organizations, which is why these models never ever work. Never ever work long term. But that's really interesting. And not to say that they're good or they're bad. I just know that if you go in and sign up as a client, that client is going to leave after a month, and you're leaving so much money on the line. But also too, here's the problem when clients leave is that they'll talk to their friends. How was WAG? How was working against gravity? Oh yeah, it was okay. Like, yo, shit. No, not worth it. I'd rather do K-Lyricides. Comparatively, a $10 app is going to commoditize that. And if you don't want to be a commodity, I mean, K-Lyricides is going to come out with more and more and more and more shit, like Netflix tracking. I'm sure she'll import like photos to take photos of your food, and it spits out the calories for you. So I think if you're going to compete in this faceless space, you're going to lose. So high end is obviously high touch. It's high personality. It's coaching. It's you, me, and people want to get to know you.
I want to also put a frame around it that I truly believe in high end.
Yeah.
I don't believe that if I were a client, the reality is that I want to work with high end because I know I'll get high end results. But that's the kicker, because if someone sells me on high end but doesn't deliver me on high end, I will never ever become a repeat buyer. And because I know that, and I think perhaps a lot of people don't understand that, and maybe that is the market issue of not really understanding that they actually want high end, which when I'm looking at these things, I'll be very, very honest with you. I want to get sold. I actually want to get sold because I want something that's going to deliver me results. Mm-hmm. But the reality is that when they actually deliver their product to me, I get so disappointed. And Lynn gets to hear the back end of that all the time with me when I do get sold and I'm disappointed. And it's nothing that, I wish that they could have delivered on, especially if it is a faceless product and I got sold on someone that was faceless, paying them into an app.
Yeah, and I think I want to draw this up. This is really, really important because it's impossible to... Here's the other reality. If you're selling for low end and you're trying to serve the masses, it's impossible to coach the masses. It's because here the masses want to put low commitment and they want to see high results. Okay, here's the thing that they don't tell you. The masses want to put low commitment and they want to see high results. Okay, low commitment in time, low commitment in money, low commitment in energy, and they want to see high results. And I see so many coaches want to serve the masses, trying to save people. And when you try to save the masses, you get pulled down, which is why the market says, you know what, for less than $20 a month, I'm going to create an app. I'm going to give them information and I have low end. There's low responsibility on my behalf for their results. Low responsibility, like no responsibility. High end, you must take high responsibility for your clients' results. High responsibility because they actually represent you. This is the difference. Now you can charge high end, you can charge $200 a month. Heck, you can charge $2,000 a month if you're talking to the right particular person and you can get them the result that they're after. But are you willing to take on high responsibility? And here's the most fucked up part. You cannot take high responsibility for a high-end client if you do not have high responsibility for yourself. You want to do high-end? You got to lead yourself, motherfucker. And then you take on that standard to lead other people high-end. And here's where a lot of coaches fail because they fail to lead themselves. And then they fail to transmute that across to their clients who they actually have high responsibility for. So it's all well and good. You'll see this pop up. I want to talk about this more because this is, to me, it's like a pyramid scheme. You sell high end, only to have high end coaches, sell more high end coaches or more high end coaches, only for them to only get so far and not actually give a fuck about the end consumer. Like, here's the reality. In business, I want to talk about the good, but I also want to talk about the bad. Churn. How many clients left? what they say about you, and what's the difficulties, what are all the struggles, what about the relationship struggles they're going to have, how are you going to feel like fucking traveling, you know, all these fears. And I think social media paints this wonderful picture of Lamborghinis, Ferraris, by a beach, and that's not even part of the story. I would never ever consider going anywhere with you, Kerry, by a jet. And we have a fucking pretty successful business. But when you actually understand business, and if you want to grow a business, you take the money to invest back into the business because you understand that you are high end. That's it. The end. I think that might be a wrap. That's a few days of our bottled up information here that we let out.
High-end delivery is one of my favorite topics.
Yeah.
Because it is the true essence of the business. If you don't have a high-end product, I don't even know what people are marketing. It doesn't make sense to me. That's the way that my brain works. So It's honestly one of my favorite topics. And I think that we inside of this whole industry need to talk more about it. And our position comes from our product and how valuable and how much we love our product and how much we think our product is valued.
For sure. And at the end of the day, it comes down to this. Are you willing to take high responsibility for your clients when you sell high end? Like at the end of the day, it's fucking taking on responsibility. Most people sell low end because it's easy. You don't have to take on responsibility, but very few people get long-term results off low end products. Very few people. They get some results only to drift back and then drift forward and then drift back and then drift forward. Whereas high end, it's life changing in my mind. But I think that's it. I think that's a wrap. I think we're gonna go lift some heavy weight now. What are you doing?
I got your ass from yesterday.
True.
I'll do 70 plus deadlifts of half of you. What did you do yesterday?
Yeah, I did 70 reps at 150 kilos.
All right, do 75.
Gary's going to do half of me. Just going to see where we're at. All right, team, that's it. Hope you enjoyed this one. More importantly, if you are going to sell high-end, high responsibility, which means deliver and take on responsibility. If you don't, then understand that if you're trying to sell high-end and you're cheap, you're getting a whole bunch of people that have low commitment, which means you're going to drown. And that's the end of that. All right? That is all. Kerry, we'll see you at the gym. Everybody else, fucking tune in, watch this. This is important. And that's it, guys. Have a wonderful day.
Yesterday wasn't easy. I had to say goodbye to my best friend. Got to the end.